Nobody brags about having a boring business, but maybe they should. Hey, Bob, how's business going for you nowadays? It's really boring. We just have a consistent flow of leads and consistent clients coming in and consistent revenue. It's just really boring. I think if we were honest, we would all want that type of business. A business should feel boring so that life can feel full. When I say boring, I mean three things. Number one, clear, repeatable, stable, not dull, not lazy, not small. Number two, the idea that boredom is internal, boring is external. So boredom is a feeling where boring is a design. And number three, boring like a good truck or a good vehicle that you can trust. You go out to start it in the morning. If you've never had a vehicle that you couldn't trust, you are lucky. Good for you. So you go out in the morning, and before you turn the key, you give it a pep talk. You say a little prayer like, just start this time for me. This one last time. I need to make it to work on time. And being able to go out to a vehicle, not give it a pep talk, not say a prayer, that's the kind of boring that I mean. Most people think that a business that's working should feel exciting. And that's a very Hollywood idea. Excitement and grind and long hours, this exciting thing, that's wrong. It's why so many people who are genuinely good at what they do are just tired. And tired people they need to have something that keeps them going. So tired people go looking for something exhilarating, a new offer, a new platform, new strategy, some sort of shot of adrenaline or like caffeine that they're going to pump into the business. Look, I know that when I say boring, that can sound like I'm asking you to settle. Boring sounds like settling. I get it. And now you have this gray-haired, gray-beard guy telling you, hey, your business, let's dial it down. Let's pull back on it, pull the reins back on it. But the best business owners that I know, and they're living the best lives, they're not running the most exciting operations. And I'm not talking about like industry. I'm talking about operations, day-to-day type of stuff. They're at their kids' games. They're coaching their kids' teams. They're volunteering at church. They're helping out with homework on Thursday nights instead of bringing their work home. That's the kind of stuff that boring can do for you. So if your business feels more like it's chaos than calm and you're not getting to do that type of stuff, it usually shows up in these 5 places. If you want, I put together a workbook that goes with this. So as we go through these 5 areas, you can score yourself, make some notes, figure out where you're at in your business, what feels a little bit more chaotic than calm. Number 1, busy is not the same as productive. You know this. Everyone knows this. You've heard this 1,000 times. Yet so many of us spend the better part of the week doing stuff that just keeps us busy. We're buying a course that we're never going to open, signing up for tools and software that we don't need yet, maybe someday. But why are we signing up for it right now? It keeps us busy, but what kind of traction are we gaining from that? I think the way that we justified is it took up time, it filled our schedule, and we're tired at the end of the day. We felt like we did a lot at the end of the week, but what did we get done? Where are you actually at? Have you ever seen the guy at the gym? He's like 55 and he's jacked. And you ask him what he does, and his answer is the same thing. I do the same workout every day for the last 30 years. There's no confusion. There's no program. There's no new program. There probably isn't even a program. He just shows up and does it. There's no 6-week challenge. Just showing up consistently for a very long time. And then there's the other guy. He's doing CrossFit for 2 months, then calisthenics, and then he's read some sort of article on blood flow restriction training, and now he's doing some sort of circuit training that he found on YouTube. And he's upset and frustrated because there are no results. Which one of those two would you rather be? So the thing that would probably move your business is sitting right in front of you versus doing these side quests, going off and being busy with things. Like reaching out to a past client, reaching out to someone that's given you a referral and asking for another referral or thanking them for the referral. Doing the same 6 things this week that you did last week. Nothing new, nothing exciting, just the thing. But the business gets boring and calm for a minute, and something in your brain goes looking for the new problem to solve, a new offer to build, a new platform to try, a new strategy that you have to go research and get excited about. Because calm can feel wrong when you've been running on adrenaline for the last 5 years. Number 2, your revenue problem is not a leads problem. Every other video online is a guru, not like every other video besides mine. I'm saying like you look at a video, it's this, and then you scroll, and then there's a video, and then another one of these. It's just gurus telling you how to get more leads. More leads, more leads. Hey, you need more content, more leads, more leads, more leads. It's like that's the only thing that they know. But here's what I think is actually happening, because this has happened in my business. You get more leads. You follow up with them. Some of them you can make contact with, but then one ghosts you, one tells you off in a very aggressive, not nice way, and it makes you want to go home and have a beer or eat a pint of beer or a pint of ice cream. Pick your poison. And most of those leads are going to ignore you. So then you feel right back where you started. It's a terrible month. And so you decide, what do we do next month? More leads. Issue was never the leads. More leads into a broken system just gives you more things to do, more things to ignore, more complexity, which we don't need more of that. Most of the time, inconsistent revenue is really a follow-up problem. How often are you following up with the people that show the most interest, that are a maybe, and now you just need to be there to convince them that, hey, you can trust me, I can help you with this. And so when they are ready, you're there. How often are you consistently following up with old leads that are not ready? Are you sending out an email to your list at least a couple times a week? Or are you thinking, if it's not a new lead, then they're probably a bad lead? That's not a leads problem. That's a follow-up problem. And this is exactly why I made the workbook, because it's one thing to hear this and nod along. It's another thing to sit down and actually look at your business on paper. So link below to the workbook. Number 3, your VA didn't fail, your team didn't fail, your system did. I've heard this so many times. As soon as I hear the first couple of words, it's like name the tune. As soon as I hear it, I know what comes next. I can finish that sentence for you. It's, I hired someone and it just created more work for me than it saved. I was always correcting the work that they were doing, so I had to let them go, and now I'm just back to doing everything myself. And this is why I think solopreneurs and one-person businesses are such a big thing right now, that is happening by default. It's not intentional. There's nothing wrong with being intentional about being a solopreneur. But don't let not being able to succeed through others limit you. There's a way to do more by succeeding through other people. So if you're handing a job off to someone that only existed inside your head with no documentation, there's no standard. That's a big thing, not just a system, but a standard. And there's no way for them to know what done looks like. It's just, you're like throwing stuff at them And now they have to guess, and they're going to get it wrong. So they come back to you, which is an interruption of what you're currently working on. And now you have to correct them and go, well, you got to do it this way. So now you're frustrated. They're confused. So now you've told yourself, like, people don't work. It just takes up more time than I have. You told yourself people don't work. But here's the thing. Think about Chick-fil-A. They're not hiring culinary geniuses. They're hiring people at their first jobs. And somehow a chicken sandwich in Spokane is going to taste like a chicken sandwich in Nashville. Not because the people went to a culinary school, but because they've created a system. You can't build that if the whole operation just lives inside of your head, and you can't grow past yourself until you get it out of your head. So you need to systemize before you delegate. I know a lot of people say you hire someone and have them follow around and document it for you, but you need a place for these people to start. You need some sort of place for them to land and know where it is that you're going. And if you can't write it down clearly enough for someone to follow it, you're not ready to hand it off. This is not a people problem. This is you need to get it out of your head problem. And if you hate writing things down, that's okay. We don't need a 3-ring binder or a big SOP of things. You just need to talk it out loud. Open up your iPhone, use voice memos, screen record it, narrate it as you go along, send them that video. That's the system. But don't be mad at people for not doing things the way that you want them done when you've never clearly communicated how you want them done. That's not on them, that's on you. Number 4, a slow week is data, not a verdict on your entire life. Business slows down for a couple of weeks. You start questioning everything. You question your offer, you question your niche, you're questioning if you even picked the right industry to be in. And then you're on YouTube watching stuff at 11 at night about passive income and drop shipping opportunities. You're questioning whether you should have even started this thing or if you should have just stayed at your old job where you get health insurance and a 401k. All because you had a bad day. Tuesday was a little bit slow. But a bad week doesn't mean that your business is broken. It doesn't mean that you're broken. It just means that something specifically stopped happening. And it could have been for a long period of time, maybe a short period of time. Could be on you, could be external. Maybe you stopped following up with leads. Maybe it's a little bit harder to get them across the finish line now. And you've taken your foot off the gas because of that. Maybe it's the time of year. Maybe it's the economy. Maybe it is the market. Maybe people are afraid that a war is going to start. So they slow everything down, and that slows down for you. Look, a pilot doesn't land the plane and quit flying and just walk away because they hit some turbulence. They hit some turbulence. They check the instruments. They adjust what they're doing. They go higher, they go lower, but they keep flying. That's all a slow week is. It's just turbulence. It's telling you something specific is happening if you're willing to look at it in that way, instead of using it as evidence for a story that maybe you've been telling yourself that, why this wasn't going to work in the first place. When you know the 3, 4, 5, 6 specific inputs that drive the revenue in your business, a slow week just becomes a diagnostic. It's like a circuit breaker. You don't randomly start flipping switches. You go out, you look at your panel, you find the one that is tripped, you reset it, lights come back on. Results are feedback. It's not judgment. It's not a grade. It's not a verdict. It's just information. Number 5, everything that I just described, the leads, the busyness, the delegation, the slow week drift into a spiral, they all come from the same place. There's no loop or rhythm or ritual. There's no structure underneath the decisions that you're making. You're just bouncing around like a pinball from whatever is loudest or urgent, reacting all day, resetting each morning, resetting each Monday. And somehow then every year looks a lot like the last one. And you're questioning like why you're not making progress. Why aren't you further ahead? Steady owners, boring owners run on a loop, the same loop. You'll recognize this as I walk you through it. And it might be different names for different people, but here's what I call it. There's 4 parts. And if you think about it like the best baker in your city, the one with the line out the door at 7 in the morning and they're completely sold out by 11 a.m., he's running this loop. He's not trying a new recipe. He's not pivoting to sourdough because that's the trend on Instagram right now. He's not on YouTube looking for inspiration. He's doing the exact same thing that he did yesterday, that he did the week before, that made this business work for him. He's using the same recipe, the same bake time, the same temperature, 10,000 times. And that's how you get a really good croissant. And it's because of this loop. So the first thing is observe. See what's actually happening in your business right now. Not what you hope is happening. What is actually happening? Have awareness. Order. Decide who you are being today, and then what comes first from that. Before the emails, before the clients need something, before your day gets away from you, you decide what is the priority. Operate. So now that you have order, you know what is the priority. Execute from that decision, not from how you're going to feel 45 minutes from now, but from what you've already decided. Feelings will change every day, every few minutes, but decisions don't have to. Outcome. Read the results now. Adjust. Go back to observe. Take it as feedback, not as judgment. And that's the boring loop. It's not exciting. There's no hack there. There's no secret. It's just the same 4 things done consistently until your business stops feeling like something that's happening to you, and then it starts feeling like something that you actually run, that you have control over. The owners who build something that lasts and looks easy aren't more talented than the ones who are burned out. They've just stopped blowing up what was working every time that they get a little uncomfortable, or do I dare say bored. They picked a direction and they're staying in it. So here's what actually changes when you get this right, when you're okay with the boring idea. You stop following up only when you need money. You stop hiring people to clean up a mess that only makes sense in your head. You stop treating one slow week like it is the end of the world and that teacher your junior year was right about you and that you won't amount to anything. You stop chasing the new thing every time the current thing gets calm or boring, and you stop confusing adrenaline for ambition. That's a big shift. Your old belief is that a good business should feel exciting. The new belief is that a boring business is usually a sign that something is working. So if this hits home and you want to actually work through these 5 areas, grab the workbook. It'll help you see where your business feels chaotic, where it feels heavier than it should, and what to look at first if you want a more boring business and a fuller life. Here's the thing about boring. Once you're okay with it, you stop measuring success by how busy you feel. You start measuring it by how calm the business feels. Once your evenings belong back to you again, then your Sunday doesn't feel like the start of a hostage situation where you have to negotiate with your business and you have to tell your spouse, well, the business needs this from me. Your kids get a version of you that's actually present. Now, this does not mean less ambition. That does not mean settling, not less growth, just more life outside of all of that work. A boring business so you can live a full life.